Welcome back to what could be the final video of Millie Mini AI. We're making this cute little robot right here. Um, and honestly, I just think this is going to be a really cool tool for people who are tired of TurtleBot and like that kind of design. So we are making a ROS 2 robot for everyone who's been following along. Right now, we're going to jump in and get the neck done. Hopefully, we get the neck and the face, right? So we need to create this. We need to create this guy. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 pieces to make. And I'm going to try to throw these in an hour video and get this done. So let's bring this down here. Let's turn off all of these, right? So we're just focusing on that guy right now. And the first thing we should do is figure out what dimension this is. So if I measure from here to here, I get 73. Cool. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then if I measure here, we get 8. So 73 and 8. And then the holes should just be lined up with this, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this off. We're going to turn these guys on. So we're working with the actual part and the bodies. We're going to go to the top shelf, right? Or what I should say, we're gonna start here. We're gonna do new body, right? This is gonna be the neck shaft, because that's what it is. Okay. So we have this double clicked, right? We have this selected. See how it's bold? And then so let's go here and then hit this guy right here, binder. So now if we turn this off, we have the binder up here. And that means we can start drawing on here. So let's create a sketch. This is going to be right over here. So we have basically just a regular rounded rectangle. And we're going to go center. We're going to go here. We said it was 73, right? And then 8. Cool. And we already know the center is right there, 20. Cool. That's that. Just to check it again, we're going to save, measure this. Yep, 73. Coolio. And then these holes are going to go all the way through. So we can make them now. So if we're in the sketch, we come up here to this create external geometry. And we select that guy and that guy and that guy and that guy. Cool. And then boom. These are all going to be 5. So let's just check that really quick. Yep, 5, and that should be 4.25. Yep. So these are all 5. So we go back into the sketch. There we go. Sometimes you have to get out of the drawing. And, oh. You know what? I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to come in here and dimension them. Oh my god, dude. Come on. Here we go. 5. So basically you can dimension these afterwards. If they're giving you a little, oh, if they're giving you a little, cool, close it, and then always save. And then what we're going to do is basically, this is probably 10. So we're going to measure this. That's 8. So what we can do is, let's measure this. That's 8. And that's 2. So that's definitely 10. Cool. We need to do this guy from the center. 20, 20, and 3. Cool. And then now we can close it and we can pad it, and that's cool. So we basically have like the first block done, and it sits right over the holes, right? And so that's the start of the neck. And then we're gonna extrude this guy. So let's find out how big this thing is. If we go here, let's just measure, let's measure from here to here. That's 40. Okay, so this whole thing is 40, and then that is 5. Cool, and that should be, yeah, 5. Okay, so we're gonna do, these come later, right? This whole thing comes up as one big piece, and then we add these on later. So if I actually go into the neck, I can see that here, that was the first pad. Let's close that. Right? There's that first pad. And then that second pad looks like that. So we're going to measure all these. This should be 20. This should be 20. And that should be 40. And that's 5. And we know that's 3. So we know what we need. Right? We need to close this. We need to create a sketch on top of here. So we'll do rounded. We'll do center. We'll do 20, 23, right? And then just dimension that like you would anything else, 20. And then it's automatically aligned with that. And then we're going to do the same thing, but right now we already have this. So we're just going to do it again. Rounded rectangle. And then do center. And then just use that. And now it's 40, 40, 5. Cool? Close it. Pad it. It's not going to be 10. We need to dimension that. So why don't we say 140? Cool. So now we go back, pad, throw a 4 in there, and you're off to the races. So that's 140. And that should be good. Yeah, 140 millimeters, 14 centimeters. Okay, so that's that. But what I'd also like to do is just color this orange. So click on here, click on appearance, and then go over here, do orange and orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close. Cool. And then we need to do these vertical parts. So basically, I think those are just going to be 30. So if we go to the next pad, you can see that these are just two. You can see that these are just two. I think they're 30s. So if we just jig that out, it's 30 and 30. So yeah, it's going to be 30. So basically what we do is we need to draw on this top surface, right? We're going to do something like click on that, make sure that this is highlighted. Click create sketch. So we're up here. Now we just pull these guys. I think we just need those two, right? And then go back here, select a regular rectangle, and then grab this corner, and just do 20 and then 30. You know what? This is only 10. 10 and 30. It's hard to see that. 10 and 30, right? Same thing over here. Grab that, click that. 10 and 30. Cool. Save that, close it, pad it, 30, and we're done. We need to create a sketch on here, right? So we're going to pull this guy off here and here. Then we're going to pull this here and there. Cool. And then, so it's middle of those two lines, and then that middle is going to get this guy. And it's 8 point. I want to do, you know, 8 point, I'm going to leave it 8.5. And then that's it. Fully constrained. And then this guy is going to be a pocket, but it's going to be a through all. And that makes it basically go to infinity. You could do symmetric to plane infinity through all, but we don't need to do that. And then basically all you need to do for this one is just do the, let's see what we did next here. So if I go to the neck plate or neck base, we can see that the next one is the fillet, and that fillet is 14. So let's do that. Let's go to the fillet, and then what did we do next? And then we made that pocket. Okay, so let's just focus on the fillet now. We're going to do those 14. So basically just save it. We're going to do this fillet, this, and this. Hit 14, hit OK. And like I said before, if you don't need this to be like a perfect joint for something, and it's okay to have this little leftover right here, just do it like that. It beats having to like make a thing and then make a semicircle and trim it and all that stuff. You could do it that way, but to me, this is way easier. So that's done. And then we need to make this little pocket right here in the front so we can put a USB cable basically through here. So if you think about it, it needs a little slot for the USB. So that would be that guy. So let's look at that. 10 by 10, and then it's just centered. So that's all we need to do, 10 by 10, and it's centered. And then close it, and let's dimension that 20. And honestly, 20 was more than enough. So let's do that. Basically, we want to create a sketch here, right? So close that. We're highlighted here. We're going to create a sketch on this surface. Make sure you're on the front, not the back, right? It doesn't really matter because you could turn it around, but just for sakes. Cool. And then right here, create external geometry. Boom. Boom. You actually probably only need that one. And then I'm going to go to regular square. And I'm going to go to this guy and just put 10, 10, right? And you can move it around. I don't know if... Yeah, okay, so that's good. 1 degree of freedom. But here's the thing. We want it to be centered, right? So we're going to use this guy right here. This is the symmetry tool. Constrained symmetric, right? These are all your constraints. And you're going to select the tool, select this side, and then that side, and then the center. And it's over constraint, so we just delete that, and it's good to go. Fully constrained, boom. And then we pocket it, 20. So that's basically the cutout that we need for a USB. And then we're just going to fillet or fillet those edges. I think they're going to be like 1 or 2 radiuses. So if we go down here to the neck base, it's 2. Okay? So let's do that. So basically all we need to do is fillet, and we click boom, 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 boom. Change that to 2, hit OK, and we're good to go. So that just kind of like softens up the corners right there. And honestly, like 3D printing doesn't give you like super sharp corners anyway, but I just like to add little details like that. I think it looks nice, you know? So you can see how complex this shape is getting, but we're just using simple shapes to make it. So then we save, right? We go to this one, right? So right here, we're going to make these pockets and then chamfer it. And then we're done. So 2 more moves, right? And we know from experience that these are going to be 8.5s. And they're only 2 deep. And then let me just check on this chamfer. This chamfer is 2. So we're good. So we can delete that. So let's do that. We're going to go over here. We're going to go down here. And we're going to say we want to create a sketch on this guy. Right? We're going to grab these just so we can get that center point. So just touch the tops of these. Cool. And then we can just do the 8.5s. So we do 8.5. Hopefully this thing behaves for us. 8.5. 8.5. 8.5. 8.5. Cool, all right? And then close it, and we're going to do a pocket, but these are only going to be 2. And that just kind of gives us like a little nice indentation for the washer. I always like to have this little kind of like, almost like a cool little like dip for the washer and the net to go into. It just makes everything look cleaner than having like a flat surface with a washer sticking out. You know, it's like, it looks a little more designed. And then the last thing we do for here is boom, 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 boom. This is the chamfer tool. So before you click on those, obviously, click on the chamfer tool, and then select all the edges. Hit 2. Hit 2, and you're done. Cool. That's basically it. We're done. That's how you build the neck piece. And it looks good. So let's throw it into a part. You know, let's clean it up. So we basically go down up here to assembly 4, right? We say we want a new part. It's going to be the neck shaft part. Select that, throw it in there, and we're good to go. It's got that origin point there. Turn that off. Turn this all off. Go into the assembly. Turn that on. Say, okay, we want to throw a part into the assembly. It's going to be the last one. Neck shaft part. Insert. It already knows where to put it. Parent assembly. Origin. Boom. Now all we need to do is turn off the LCS point there, and then let's drag it all the way. Let's drag it all the way up to the top, right? Rename it. Neck shaft part assembly. Cool. So that is it right there. And we're ready to move on to the faceplate. So let's keep it going. It's only been about 30 minutes. So the next thing we need to do, make sure you're saving. Yeah, see how this was way too skinny and tall? Now we have more of a boxy, kind of solid frame. Shorter and wider. So I think it's going to be all around better. Turn off this. Turn on parts. And what we do is we don't draw this actually connected yet. Yeah. Actually, I am going to end this now because I need to spend a little time. I need to spend a little time measuring this thing. And that's not going to be important for you. Because this is just, I'm just going to tell you how to build it. I'm just going to tell you how to build it for this Samsung tablet. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.